Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today for today's world session. The 10th of We're already the 10th of February. I can't even believe that. So if you want to catch the other sessions that you may have missed, you can go to my website, www.mmarzak.com, and there's tons of free sessions on there. I think I've been doing this for about 5 or 6 months now. So there's at least 5 or 6 months of free healing on my website. There's also courses and workshops that I hold, so you can go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel through there. You can follow me on Facebook if you like to stay in contact. Please send me an email, and it would be so great for any feedback or comments on YouTube. That would be fantastic. So I'm going to hop right into the session. I know I talked through that really quickly. The session is moving in so strongly. Usually I don't have anyone recorded on these sessions with me, but Caroline and Chinsia gave permission. They're going to help me anchor and ground this, because what I'm feeling is a global shift happening, and I really can't stop moving. So it's interesting. I don't like the word interesting, and it keeps going up. I keep wanting to go up into the mind to thoughts. So what we're going to do is dump 5 senses from the brain, actually from the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for higher consciousness and higher modes of thinking. The reptilian brain is the eat, sleep, walk, take care of your kids, personal hygiene, everything that, if you look like an ant or you look at a lizard, everything that they do, we do too. It's the weirdest thing. We think we're so evolved, but we still have that reptilian brain. As when I'm tuning into the different aspects within the brain, my gut is on fire. So there feels like there's this big shift happening from being completely taken over by the reptilian brain and only being in reptilian brain, moving into a higher consciousness into that prefrontal cortex. And we're going to dump the 5. I'm shivering all over. This is a really big shift. I'm feeling all of that people's energies who I can just see the world doing this. Waking up from a really deep spell. Like now I'm getting the imagery of Sleeping Beauty. She was given the kiss, the man kissed her, and she woke up. So this has nothing to do with men. This has to do with masculinity. This has to do with the masculine supporting the feminine. The man, it's really big energy coming up. So I just need to tell you as a little, I wish I yawned. I wish the energy moved through me nicely. And I did a sigh or a yawn. And with me, it's a little bit of rebellious chi, and it comes up really quickly as a belch. So if you hear me belching, I'm not going to be sick. I'm not going to be ill. It's just the energy moving in really strongly. And I'm really talking fast. I just want to shake. I just want to get up and shake this sleep off of me. It's through the arms, through the legs. There's a lot happening. So there's a reorganization of the small intestines, which has to do with discernment. It's almost like that spell, or the 5 senses. So we're doing a 5 senses dumping. So this is all of the filters that you see. So, my lying eyes, or the wool is being pulled off my eyes. I can hear clearly. And then there's that opposite of, you only hear what you want to hear. You only say, and then that split tongue, the forked tongue. So the lies and then speaking the truth. Whew. And then in comes, well, this smells fishy. There's something off. I can't quite put my finger on it, but this doesn't smell right. So all of those sayings actually have a basis, and that's the 5 senses. So we're dumping 5 senses, both physical and subtle, from the small intestines, bringing back discernment into the small intestines, rebuilding the small intestines, bringing them back into their natural consciousness. I discern for myself, not based on anybody else, but for me and only for me, based on me, based on my self-autonomy. So I just see every person find it's really quite beautiful. Some people are still lying down, some people are sitting, and some people are standing up. So I just see this various different movements of people on the globe doing different actions of moving into that self-autonomy. But back into the brain, we've got to dump those 5 senses from the brain, specifically the prefrontal cortex. Following thoughts is not thinking. That's the following thoughts is not thinking. You have a thought, chasing your thought doesn't mean that you're thinking clearly. It just means that you're chasing a thought. So if you want to turn this, we're quick to go out onto the other, but how do you do this daily to yourself? How many thoughts do you have a day about yourself? Whether they be positive thoughts or negative thoughts. And believing that those thoughts are true. But those thoughts have nothing to do with you. It's a thought. It's like thinking, I need to go to the grocery store. It's a thought. And then attaching to those thoughts and saying, I am the actual act of going to the grocery store. What's coming in really strongly over here is breakthrough. Where's Caroline? So Caroline is a breakthrough instructor and practitioner, and in comes breakthrough. Caroline, I'm going to pass these next 2 links over to you. We're in the prefrontal cortex, really deep down onto a cellular level within the fascial system. We're going to do a PTSD release from I want to say 2 years, but really it's not that. It's also as far back as when people have started, you as an individual, you can feel for yourself when you start to traumatize yourself, and that you keep traumatizing yourself. So we're releasing that trauma from the fascial system within the prefrontal cortex. We're anchoring it to breakthrough. And now Caroline's going to do the next few links for this, because she's also a cranial sacral therapist, and there's some work here that needs to be done within the brain. And we're so lucky to have her on today. I'm going to take advantage of that. But so I'm going to release I'm not. The body mind is doing however you traumatize yourself. You can think about that for yourself. All the ways you stonewall yourself, all of the ways you lie to yourself, you believe those lies, and then you manipulate yourself and others through dishonesty. Oh, that's really strong. And that's being released from the fascial system. Take it away, Caroline.
I have a bit of a noisy background, so if you see me just pause, then I'm just going to mute myself just while the link comes together. So I see that all of the prefrontal cortex and the fascial tissue shifting, and just to kind of clarify a little bit more about that, it's quite a strange concept. You think, I don't traumatize myself. But if you really take a little bit of time to think about it, that's exactly what happens when I'll use my eldest son as just a quick example. He's afraid of the dark. And he'll sit in the dark and scare himself. And he's the one who keeps scaring himself. It's not the dark coming and doing something to him. It's his own thoughts. So this is like a re-traumatization. When thoughts go wild around fears, phobias, past experiences, fearing past experiences repeating and recurring. So if I've had a bad experience I'm so scared, it mustn't happen again. I must jump into control and it mustn't happen again. So this is a little bit more of a definition of what that re-traumatization is. And it's in direct opposition with the natural consciousness of the prefrontal cortex, which is our states of higher consciousness, our states of kind of genesis and evolution of the brain and of humanity. And this is really where our empathy and there's a word that it's not coming to me, but it's the gentleness and the empathy actually comes from that, right? You want to jump in, Monica?
And say that word
Yeah.
is vulnerability.
Yes, vulnerability, and like it'll come to me in a minute. And as we're shifting that fascial tissue in that prefrontal cortex, there is an area just here at the front of the head, in more the bone tissue, because there's a sheath that divides the brain, and it's called it's a falx, called a falx. It's a membrane, and it attaches to the bony skull internally. And that feels like it's pulled really tight, and it pulls on the sphenoid. Oh, I did a belch for you, Monica, instead of a yawn. I'm usually the one who yawns.
So interesting, Caroline. We're doing a parallel session. So as Caroline's working, so am I. I'm seeing other links coming in. So I just want to bring this in as a parallel, that this is happening like two cars driving at the same time down the street. So I'm going to allow Caroline's going to keep on talking, but I'm letting you know that there's eighth chakra influence being neutralized out of that falx, and also falx cerebri is coming up and down into the corpus callosum, into the synapses where the both brains are communicating, where the left brain and the right brain are not at war with each other anymore, that they're actually passing the communication back to each other. But this is being influenced by eighth chakra and a couple of eighth chakra influences. So we have actual trauma going back 100, 200. No, we're going way back to like Neolithic time, really far back, where that reptilian, I'm so sorry, Caroline, this is how I had to say this really quickly, and then you'll take it away from there, where the reptilian brain was the thing that kept us alive and safe. But we're still operating from that space. Like there's danger. Oh my God, I've got the shivers all over. Like there's danger lurking at every corner. There's a saber-toothed tiger is going to eat me. I don't have any food. And there was a heightened, where there was actual real danger. But we're still operating from that space. That's not to say that there's not dangerous situations in life. That's not to say that everything's airy-fairy and hunky-dory. But that we need to neutralize or synthesize those eighth chakra influences so that our body's not responding to all of life's situations and experience from that space, that place of trauma. So neutralizing traumatic events going back to like Neolithic times. This is really big. Then we've also got past life influences of tyranny. So I'm seeing Holocaust. I'm seeing, oh God. I'm seeing Cambodia. I'm seeing where in Africa they mutilate the women. I'm seeing baby genocide, where in China they threw the baby girls. You just have a baby and you just throw them on the street. And all of the other horrific things in Ireland and in England, and being ostracized, and such deep brutality. Oh God, like Genghis Khan. And this theme of where this psychopathic thinking or real narcissistic thinking comes in and says, I am going to rule the world. And then seeing the flip side of it, of how there's some compassion coming in for that person who wants to rule. Is we're really quick to judge. They're bad. What they're doing is wrong. Not to say that all actions are right, but compassion is coming. Compassion is coming in and going, well, if they abuse outwardly, how much do they abuse inwardly? And that conflict space. So we're going back to breakthrough. Take it away, Caroline.
All right. So just kind of coming back to that Krista Gully for a second. So thank you for all of that. I could feel how strong all of that was. The Krista Gully, as soon as the shift starts taking place there, it pulls on the sphenoid, which is a central pump action for the whole craniosacral system. And it's just not pumping correctly. So as we release the tension in the Krista Gully, that sphenoid bone starts pumping properly. It's the cerebrospinal fluid up and down the spine. So it's basically the physiological aspects of everything that you were talking about. The physiology is the cerebrospinal fluid bathing the brain. Just a sec. And I could also see that that has this influence on the crown chakra, the brow chakra. So that's that intuition and inner sight coming in. This is kind of taking responsibility for my inner tyrants. Okay, so it's the inner tyranny, and that's really what you were talking about with the 8th chakra. That I'm scaring myself, I'm re-traumatizing myself. That's the inner tyrant. So that's how it comes together there. And I'm going to let you carry on because I've got a very noisy background. So the outer world is the mirror for my inner world, and that's where the breakthrough aspect comes in for you.
So we're going through back into that spinal fluid. That was really catching my my attention, and I can see the world spine and the nervous system. And so having a backbone. So having a backbone doesn't mean being pushy or forceful or tyrannical. It really is the natural consciousness of having a backbone is standing up in your own life. On that, I've just relaxed. So what's happening with these cosmic forces that we were bringing we were speaking about in the beginning, is really the world, the people of the world, growing a backbone. And it's not even growing a backbone. They've always had a backbone. The backbone was always there. They just didn't recognize it or see it or even feel it or experience it. And now I'm getting the shivers. Courage. They're like, oh, I can see everyone going, oh, I have courage. I don't need courage. I already have. I don't lack courage. The courage is within me. Oh, I don't need to go outward for strength. My strength lies within me. I don't need to look outward to say what's right for me. I am the one who says what's right for me. And if I make a choice, well, I don't know if it's a right or wrong choice, but I do have the ability to respond to my choices. I have the ability to respond to my choices. And in comes soul responsibility so strong. I see it growing from the coccyx. So the coccyx is right around that root chakra. So we're doing a root chakra repair. And the root chakra is foundation. So everything to do with basic needs. So if you think about a house and you have your root chakra, so that has to do with foundations, family, home, food, money, work, and fun is, oh, my responsibility. Responsibility is within the root chakra, but not in I'm seeing this, so thank you for showing me this, everyone, but not in that burdened way where we say responsibility and everyone falls over because it's such a burden on the back. I say responsibility within my root chakra and I stand up really nice and straight. Stand up really nice. I have the ability to respond. You can just say that to yourself. I'm going to tap that into the I'm going to tap in soul responsibility into the root chakra and do a root chakra repair of I have the ability to respond to whatever is happening, even to traumatizing myself, even to conflict, even to hardship. I respond for myself. And now I see the bone from the coccyx. We're doing a deep bone repair, going into the osteoblasts, into the bone marrow, and then even into the nerves. And the nervous system has been absolutely overburdened with thought, thinking, fear, fantasizing, maniacal thinking. No wonder everyone's feeling burnt and tired and oversensitive. So going into the nervous system, and I'm noticing even the way that I'm talking is a lot calmer. There's this gentleness that's kind of come in. Your body has the ability to respond, to heal, to shift, to synthesize, and to maneuver whatever obstacles and hardships come with a straight back. Oh, it feels so beautiful. I can see like this gold, right? I'm seeing, Caroline, what you're in that cerebral spinal fluid, and I can see it transmuting. It looks like a movie, you know, when they add that magic potion and it turns from this dark gray matter and you start seeing something magical taking place, like little flecks of gold, and it starts to transmute. And that's moving up right from the coccyx and through that repaired chakra up into, right up into the brain, right up, shoots up, right up into that midbrain, right through the pons, right through that occiput, right up into the midbrain. And so this repair work is doing this repair to that cerebral fluid, dumping that whiny victim blame consciousness and really standing up in your own autonomy. I can stand up for myself, not waiting for someone else to stand for you, but really taking full responsibility for yourself, not waiting to be saved. You don't need to be saved. There's nothing to save you from. You save yourself. You heal yourself. You make your own choices for yourself. And it just feels so powerful and strong. I'm going to tap this in. There's a very powerful session. So if you want to tap for yourself, you can sit back and receive. You tap the top of the head like a coconut, and then you tap your heart, and then you tap your belly. What a wonderful, powerful session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for grounding with me. And thank you, Caroline. Wonderful. Thank you so kindly. I will see you all next week.
Thank you so much.